The Eurocrisis reminds me of the old Jaws films where you've got long periods of calm and then suddenly you've got intense frenetic activity as the shark strikes. And that's been the experience of the last few years. We've had periods of frenetic financial market activity, first with Greece, then with Spain, speculation about Italy and Portugal. And then suddenly the markets are calm again. And the markets calmed last September with the announcement of the Draghi plan, but I'm still not convinced. I still think that music could get louder and more intense. We can't hear it at the moment, but I still think we could see a Jaws strike again on the financial markets for three key reasons. The first is that if you look at these economies, the interest rate they're paying on their debt is much higher than their GDP growth. And if you make a personal analogy there, if the mortgage rate you're paying is very high and your income is actually flat or falling, then you've got to make some really major savings elsewhere in your household finances to stop your debt burden rising exponentially. So that's a real problem there, which these economies really haven't yet dealt with. And in economic terms, they have to move towards what we call a primary surplus. That's a surplus before debt payments. That requires a pretty draconian and sustained squeeze on the public finances. And I'm not convinced that politically that's sustainable year after year after year. The second factor there is related to the first, and that is that unemployment in these economies is very high. The headline rate of unemployment in Spain and Greece is nudging towards 30%, and youth unemployment rates are touching 50%. These are huge dilemmas for any elected government. Can it go on inflicting that pain on the electorate, knowing full well that it's not going to be a 1 or 2 year story, but it's a decadal story to get their finances in order? And finally is a simple matter of competitiveness. Many of the Club Med economies have lost 25-30% plus competitiveness against Germany since the introduction of the euro. If they stay in the single currency, then they can't do an external devaluation. They can't devalue their exchange rate against Germany because they don't have one. But what they have to do then is have an internal devaluation, cut wages, wage freezes, not again over a 1 or 2 year horizon, but over a 10 plus year horizon. So those three reasons make me very doubtful that from a political and economics perspective, we've seen the end of the euro crisis. I don't think we have. It's still dangerous to go back into those waters.